I just had my birthday, the big 4-0. My name is Nikki Schumacher. I'm practically imperfect in every single way. This community seeks to help each other love our families practically and imperfectly. I want to thank my friend Addie Tackman. She actually has a YouTube channel as well. I will link it below. I just had my 40th birthday and Addie very wisely asked me to share lessons from my 30s. I have a child here with me. She's 1.5 years old. I have a second child here with me. He or she is 20 weeks gestation. Let's go get a new diaper. We'll see if I ever actually get to, record. Be sure to like and subscribe if you like these types of videos. Let me know in the comments, should I make more in my 40s videos? If you would want more content about being in your 40s or anything to do with being 40 or above, I can do that now because I just had a birthday. So let me know what you would want if that is something that interests you. Lessons from my 30s. I'll try to pick an odd number. 9 lessons from my 30s. Number 1, go see your parents. Even if it's expensive, even if it takes you longer to get out of debt, they are old before you know it. When you're raising your babies, when you have babies, everyone basically shakes you and says it goes by so fast. Well, in June I lost my dad and I just want to shake you and let you know it goes by so fast. And even before he passed, I knew that it was going so fast because he had me older. He was about 41, I think, when I was born, 45 when my little sister was born. And so the last couple of years watching him get old was like, wow, that happened fast. Not only are they gone before you know it, their strength is gone before you know it. So if your parents still have their strength, spend time with them while you can. If they don't have their strength, spend time with them while you can, and you'll never regret that. The other thing is, because of the election infection, don't be offended. I actually have to call it something else because videos get taken down if that word is mentioned. I didn't actually get to see him this last year before he passed, only on FaceTime. So you just never know what weird events are going to come your way. So take every opportunity you can to see your parents. Lesson number 2, have kids sooner than later. If you're married, of course. Obviously, I don't believe in premarital anything, but none of us is perfect. And if it happens and you have a teen pregnancy, I count that as a blessing because you just never know. I, in my 40s now, have seen so many friends struggle with fertility issues. I have been really lucky, but even though I didn't have my first kid till I was 32, I now realize what a blessing they were and that it was really a gamble to start so late. I don't live with regrets, but I would caution anyone to start as soon as possible. Obviously within reason if you're married and have a stable relationship and all of that. But even, if, things happen, none of us is perfect, and you have a baby sooner than married, that is a blessing too. Maya Angelou said that she had her baby at 14, and what a blessing, because later on in life she was never able to have another one. They are the biggest blessing that the world lies to you about. They say that children will ruin your life, and it is in fact the opposite. They will enrich your life in ways that I really can't explain. This might be hard to think about, but with my dad having been 80, he had 5 children, and things didn't work out with some of his older kids to really be in his life anymore. And so he was living with his youngest child when he passed, and had he only stopped at 1 or 2, I don't know where he would have been at the end, because if my little sister hadn't been born and him living with her, he would have been able to live with me. If it would have been his first or second child, well, they ended up incarcerated for most of their lives. And so it really was a blessing that he ended up having 5 kids. It's not that monetary blessing is the only thing that comes from children, although that is part of it. It just makes sense. If every couple only has 1 or 2 kids, then there are more elderly people than there are young people, and that is rough. But also, my 3 girls love having siblings, and they are so excited for their next sibling, and I'm just thankful that I'm able to give them that gift. I'm probably rambling too much, and I'm probably going to cut a bunch of this off. But basically, get married sooner if you can. Have kids sooner if you can. This is just my opinion. Take it or leave it. Oh, pregnancy noises from being an old lady. Dear Lord, let me talk fast, okay? Lesson number 3. Paying money for college when you ultimately want to be a homemaker can really be a sham. Now, if you have someone paying for it, why not? Sure. You can learn anything you need to learn. Skillshare, not sponsored, that would be cool. YouTube, the library. Our local Bible college has a library that you can check out books from. I can't tell you the amount of friends I went to school with who cannot afford to be a stay-at-home mom, even though they want to, because they are paying back their student loans. Doing what everyone told them to do actually kept them from their dreams. So I'm not saying college is the wrong decision for you. I'm saying please do the math and don't lie to yourself. There's an economic lemmings theory. You know, lemmings are the little animal that will follow each other off the cliff. But economically, there is a theory that really works out and it rings true. What 98% of other people are doing, if you want to be financially successful, do the opposite. And if you want to follow your dreams and be a stay-at-home mom, if that's your dream, to be a homemaker, predominantly a keeper at home, if you will. Not saying where there aren't instances where different dreams are more than okay and valid, but if that is your dream, and a lot of my audience is similar to me, that student debt is a sham. The 4 years in college also delay your fertility. Infertility has skyrocketed. Well, part of that is because people graduate from college at 22 and then they get their master's degree and then they don't get married till this age and then they have to pay off their student loans and then it's like 32 before they can afford to have children. So that is a bonus thing I learned in my 30s, is have children before you can afford them. But I don't know if that's good advice. We didn't. We waited till our student loans were paid off, and for a lot of my friends, that did not work out for their fertility. And IVF isn't always a route everyone can go. Adoption isn't always just a simple pat answer solution either. Those options are much more complicated and nuanced than you would think. And in a Hallmark world, it would work out easily, but it doesn't. Lesson number 4 that I learned in my 30s. Share the gospel fiercely. You never know when your friends and family are gonna go. By 40, you know, that seemed so far away when I was 16, but by 40, one of my best friends, I had 3 best friends in high school, 2 I'm still pretty close with, and one has already passed away of cancer. I'm pretty sure she knew the Lord, but that sure wakes you up. My dad is already gone. It's a sick feeling to wonder if you shared the gospel with someone when they're already gone. You know what I'm saying? You never want to have that question in your mind. Yeah, that is just not something you want to question if you shared the gospel enough. So share it fiercely. While we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Lesson number 5 from my 30s, don't let friendships go too easily. It can be very, very hard to pick up where you left off. Not always, but a lot of times. I do have a friend, she was like my first or second best friend in high school, Stephanie, who it seems like every time we see each other, we can just pick up where we left off. Unfortunately, life hasn't put us in the same state in like 20 years. But other than her and maybe Amanda, my other best friend from high school, if you let friendships go, they really do flounder, and it can be really, really hard to get those deep friendships again. And so don't let friendships go. Most people do, to be honest. Once kids start coming along, it can be really easy to let your friendships slide and to get out of community. to get out of fellowship with anyone outside of your husband and kids. And eventually, I don't care how introverted you are, I think I'm a 10 out of 10 on every personality test, if you believe in those things. And I still found it depressing after about a decade. And I'm still trying to build friendships back into my life again. Lesson number 6 that I learned in my 30s. Quit the MLM 5 years in instead of 10 years. You got the lessons you could out of it, and that's about all I can say about that. Lesson number 7 that I learned in my 30s, boundaries. If you would like more information about boundaries, I recommend the Boundaries series by Doctors Cloud and Townsend. I will link it below. Boom. You want to help out? Quickly, I gotta let my baby out. Lesson number 8, I learned in my 30s, Fly Lady. She taught me everything I needed to get started to be a successful keeper at home, homemaker, whatever you want to call it. Yes, there are children making noise in the background. That is just the life. That is just the life I live. Honestly, there was a bonus lesson in there. It was like lesson, so that would have been lesson number 9. Gotta go. I hope you know you're good, you're precious. Grace and peace. Hello. What's up?
Nice.
Is it the ring light?
Yeah.
Well, I mostly put it up because the sun went down.
Yeah.
And it's like both girls are watching a movie downstairs. You were fixing the car. The baby is kind of making a mess, but she's okay.
She's trying to tell you.
Hi.
Oh, what's next? You forget.
I want to keep talking to them. Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
Are you gonna obey? You go
Okay.
downstairs. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Mind if I use these cups
For what?
for water? Okay.
Okay. We'll see if this goes anywhere.